What a day for India. You'd think now, if you follow any basic cricketing common sense, that there can be only one winner, which would mean India have registered a historic series win. But for what it's worth, there's still 3 days of cricket left. 2 of those days dominated by Cheteshwar Pujara's 193, agonizingly falling 7 short of what would have been a memorable first double 100 away from home. Nathan Lyon toiled for 4 wickets, and eventually his wicket of Ravindra Jadeja ended the misery for Australia. Not before Rishabh Pant created a little bit of history of his own. The first Asian wicketkeeper to score 100 in Australia. So well done, Rishabh Pant. He's now got 100 in England and in Australia. All that at age 21. Some record for a babysitter. This is ESPN Cricinfo Matchday presented by Maruti Suzuki. Ajit Agarkar with me. He didn't want to bowl on this pitch. Sanjay Manjrekar wouldn't have minded a bat. Neither would have Damien Martyn on this wicket. But this is as commanding, as dominating as a situation that we've seen India in an overseas series in a long time, Sanjay.
Yes, and culmination of India's batting dominance, improvements since England. Pujara being, the best scorer by far. Just a few months back or few weeks back, we were talking about Virat Kohli being the one batsman army that India had. Now we've got 2 or 3 around Virat Kohli. So great things happening. And a promising over from Kuldeep Yadav, who we thought was a gamble on this pitch. If he's going to be bowling at this speed like he did in that one over that he bowled towards the end of day's play, some exciting things to happen tomorrow, and maybe an important inclusion in the Fab Four selection as well.
When a test match is going this way, it sometimes is, from a neutral point of view, even if you like watching cricket, perhaps a little disheartening. Bowlers not quite in it. You could feel perhaps for the bowlers, but let's at the same time appreciate the achievement of Rishabh Pant today.
Yeah, just played beautifully and steps on it when he wants to really. Sanjay mentioned off air that you don't quite know when he's going to play the big shot, but played beautifully again. To get 150 plus in any test match on any ground is difficult. So a bit humiliating for Australians at the end, because Jadeja and Rishabh both were just toying with them even after the third new ball was taken. So incredible performance from India. After winning a good toss, they've made sure they've won the series, even though 3 days are left.
I'm sure that there would still be plenty that the Australians would have to say with the bat to try and at least put a decent account of themselves, maybe look to draw this test. But Damien, there are a lot of people watching in Australia, coming to the grounds. Sydney, the New Year's test is normally the time the Australian public is used to celebrating a series win. You yourself have been part of so many of this. Is an alien feeling almost, seeing the team dug into the ground for 2 days, waiting for a declaration. It's not something we know of Australia at home.
No, I missed it today. My TV was off for some reason, so I'm not sure what happened. No, I agree, mate. But look, India played sensational. I mean, yes, Australian crowds would want to win this Test match, but seeing the Kohli batting, they've seen Kohli all summer, Pujara, just the whole Indian outfit. And I think, as cricketers too, winning away is such a huge thing. For us, going to India and playing well was a huge achievement. Then making runs at home. So I mean, it's a huge credit to all the team and Kohli and what they've done. And when you got a side down, you grind it down, and that's what he did. Kohli kept batting, kept the team out there, and saying we're going to win this Test match and finish off this series in style.
Whatever the team, whatever the conversation around this series and Australia weekend, etc., we had the same conversation around England. We thought England would be weaker, India have a great chance. We thought South Africa might be a great chance. All that. Fact remains that full credit should be given to the Indian team. 2-1, they needed to almost shut the door on Australia, and that's been done.
Yeah, because who would have predicted this? I mean, it was a difficult series to predict. We knew both teams had 2 major weaknesses with their batting. India just outbatted Australia. There was quality in bowling in both sides. India have outbowled Australia, which is the big development from this series. So much talk about Pujara. You talk about Virat Kohli being the one batting army. But there have been other significant developments in recent times. Prithvi Shaw, I think, will come back, and he'll fit right into this squad. So we have 2 openers that will fill us with optimism, because Mayank Agarwal has looked good. So he's another opener that India, like Hanuma Vihari, is growing to be a reliable player. So bowling is looking good, batting is looking it has a little more of a body to it now.
And after Pujara's this sort of series, you'd think that he'll only get better. More confident when he tours overseas again. He's already toured most countries twice at least. So, but just the confidence of scoring 300s in a 4-match series in
So you
Australia.
need to say more minutes at the crease now
Yeah,
from Pujara.
we'll get to see a lot more of Pujara.
Pujara, yes.
And also in that session, we saw the best, and I don't want to say worst, but certainly where there's room for improvement for Rishabh Pant. As good a batsman as he is, India would have been jumping had they just had the wicket of Marcus Harris. Bowlers anyway finding it hard on this pitch.
Yeah, I mean a sitter really.
Yeah.
But, you don't want those things happening. I mean, it's okay when you're 600 runs on the
Yes.
board. That happens. You don't want to, even otherwise. I mean, it'll be harder work for bowlers to get every batsman out twice.
See, we're talking about Saha,
Yeah.
now finding it difficult to come back. But what if you're playing against a strong team and you've got Pant getting all the runs, but dropping catches where Saha is a far more, more reliable keeper. Again, it's a call that India will have to take.
The only thing is anyone can drop a catch. It could have well been Saha dropping a catch.
But
Who knows?
Saha's
But we
record
know
as a
that
keeper
Saha's
is
safer
dropped
as when it
less
comes to
catches.
these.
Well, I mean, that catch should be taken by most
Yes.
fielders or a keeper.
Or maybe
So that's
what
the
India
thing.
could do is have Saha around in the squad to let Pant know that if your keeping really drops to levels that are going to be a burden on the team, then we'll start looking at the better
What about
keeper.
Pant as a pure batsman? What about playing for a Rahane or
Is
a
there
Bihari?
Yeah, worth trying because this guy has got a knack of scoring runs. We crib about the way he gets out, but he's got all these scores of 30s, 40s when he gets out. So we don't look at that as much. And when he bats in third gear, I like it.
Yes.
Because today as well, if you saw the moment he tried to hit that typical IPL kind of lofted shot where it's almost like, he loses shape and it's putting so much that he mistimes those kind of shots. So when he bats in third gear, he still can score quickly enough.
Yeah, and I'm not going to hold that catch against him too
Sure.
much. I mean, you don't want anyone to drop that catch.
But why wouldn't you hold it again?
Well, we'll see if it continues to deteriorate his keeping, then you can judge. One
Correct,
odd
correct.
mistake. I don't
I'm
think
just
you should
worried
start,
that batting should not be
Considered
outweighing
over his
keeping
yeah.
in test
No,
matches,
this is fair.
especially against stronger
But
teams. Now,
I don't think he's been as bad.
That
I
having
agree,
been
yeah.
said, he is an exceptional batsman. Would that not play in his favour? Perhaps there's not been a keeper with this much potential as
I'm
a
just
proper
imagining
batsman.
somebody like a Steve Smith playing. You drop him, he's capable of getting 250. So what's the contribution of 80 or a 90 from a keeper who drops? I mean, Parthiv Patel is a great example. Every time he batted, he got some runs, but kept dropping catches. So you've got to look at that
He's
aspect.
probably getting punched by Shami right now. But
Yeah, but
But
you're
again,
right. I mean,
yeah,
it's not like
He has put a
dropped
few
them.
down in this series, straightforward ones that you would expect a keeper to catch. So there is, I know Deep Das Gupta has questions on Rishabh Pant and whether he is a keeper who will find his way and get better, or whether there are significant flaws which may or may not be able
a
to
guy who's
fix.
played, what, 6 tests,
Yes.
7 tests at the moment. So
I think Ajit is right. It's not something that we
So
need
maybe a
to worry
judgment a
about
little later.
now.
Right.
Yeah, correct.
Let's speak of Pant the batsman, and the Australian public got to see enough of him. We've seen a lot of him in white ball cricket, Damien, but from what you've seen, there are, of course, social media comparisons already to the impact that Adam Gilchrist had or the role that he played. Massive way to go to make any sort of comparison. But from what you've seen of Rishabh Pant the batsman, your assessment?
Yeah, he's starting off well, and that's what Gilly did. He came in down the order and just attacked bowling attacks, whether they were good or tired or whatever, went about it. And we saw that today. We saw some IPL shots, didn't we? T20 shots. He was trying to play and some unbelievable, pull shots, and the way he hit the full tosses off his legs. Just the timing as well was remarkable, and that's a big asset. Yes, the conversation in Test cricket with keeper, batsman. What were they? Are they a batsman keeper or the other way around? It's a hard one depending on the team. But also, look, when Gilly started, Ian Healy was a better gloveman than Adam Gilchrist, and he worked his way into it. Gilly's glove work, so it's a hard one. Maybe look down the track and see what he's like, with his keeping later on.
Let's see where he got his runs. Rishabh Pant, he got them in plenty of places. Now, worthy to note that he didn't have 6 till he actually got to 100. 15 fours is all that he got. You'd think Rishabh Pant likes to take. That's exactly what Rishabh Pant does first or second ball, the picture that you're seeing on screen.
And see
But
how
this
the
was
wagon
measured.
wheel
This was
Raunak is
different.
from Pujara's.
Yeah.
Shows you how different Pujara is as a batsman, where he's looking to score only on the leg side to balls pitched up from spinners and seamers alike. This guy has played some great drives, and Damien mentioned that full toss that he dispatched towards the end of the innings.
Yes.
There was a deep square leg and no chance. The
Well,
ball
let's
just
be
raced.
fair. It's all in good when he's already been there a while and got, he's set. But we've mentioned in the
you
first
still
test.
need the ability to play that sort of shot.
Absolutely. We're never doubting his ability. But in the first test, VVS was critical of him, saying if he doesn't develop a defensive game, you have to question
He
what
has a
value he has.
defensive
So that's what
game.
let's focus on.
No, we
This-
saw that in the very first innings that he played in England. He has the defensive game. After that, he had that one innings where he scored 0 of 18, 20 balls
Yeah,
and
fine,
then got out.
let's keep that.
Then there was a bit of confusion around Rishabh Pant as to, in his mind, as to how.
Is this perhaps his best innings? Forget the fact that he's got 160.
I thought a couple of times in this series he started started his innings well. I mean, even that Adelaide where he went after or tried to go after Nathan Lyon, hit 2 boundaries and a 6 in the over before he got out. There was a mistake in that next over where he threw it wide and he still went for a big hoik. Even today, he mistimed a few. But he started his innings really well today. I mean,
he should keep a recording of this innings because I love him when he bats in, as I said, third gear.
Yes.
I think there were about 8 lofted shots attempts that he made, and maybe 1 or 2 he got it right. So that is going to be his bane. He's got to perfect that shot, otherwise might as well play this kind of a game.
I mean, you don't want to curb him too much either.
Correct.
Such natural ability to change the game.
He should just practice that lofted shot. He misses them far too often against quality bowling like Nathan Lyon. Having said that, you saw Nathan Lyon deceive Jadeja as well when he was going for a lofted shot. But exciting things happening
average in
Indian
the
cricket.
series. And consistent through the series. Okay, there were 30s and he'd like to go on and or the team would like him to go on and get better or bigger
scores. A couple of 90s before that in India, 92 against West Indies, and then string of these scores.
Yeah, and the 100 in England to start off what's been a sensational start to Rishabh Pant's Test career. The battle between Nathan Lyon and him has been intriguing enough for all of us to watch from the first Test. All that banter from Tim Paine originated, almost tempting Rishabh Pant to go after him. Now he got him out in the first 3 Tests. In this Test match, striking at 63, did he play Lyon any better? Was it easier to play Lyon?
Easier to play Lyon, and I think he came with a slightly different mindset because earlier, his first 15-20 balls, there would be at least 5 or 6 high-risk lofted shots that he would attempt against bowlers, not just Lyon. In this innings, that is why I asked you, how did he face the first 10 balls? Because I was just getting ready, makeup and everything. And it was great to see that he was playing normally.
Yeah.
He shouldn't become a defensive player, but I just don't like him trying those high-risk shots so early in the innings.
Bit of personal history, Damien, for Rishabh Pant. The first Asian keeper to score 100 in Australia. So there clearly is something special about this kid. Now, if you were to talk to him at this point, would you say nothing? Just let him be. He's clearly got the ingredients. He'll figure it out. Or are there things you'd want to say to him to just make sure that this talent doesn't burst out in a short span?
No, I mean, you should talk to maybe Gilly or whatever. But yeah, I agree. Look, it's trying to analyse the game, isn't it? When you come in and probably we're seeing this series maybe go too hard too early with the lofted shots early on against Lyon because once he gets in, he has the potential to play all around the ground and a bit like Adam Gilchrist, take teams apart right at the end. Second new ball, third new ball, which is a huge asset for Kohli. So it's probably, he's young, he's into Test cricket. Early, it's just probably understanding your game and different roles when you walk into bat at different times.
All right, now it's time for our quick takes, and we're going to make Ajit, Sanjay, and Damien sum up what happened on day 2 very quickly. Now we've already let them get into the zone and get set, so I'm sure they'll time everything nicely as I start our quick takes with you. Let's start with Pujara's marathon effort to sum up how his series has gone so far.
Just outstanding. What can you say? Bradman-esque almost.
Wow.
Yeah, I think unrelenting. Just Australian bowlers must be, there's still 1 innings left if India bat again, but they wouldn't want to bowl to him again.
Yeah, Warney had nightmares of Tendulkar, slot sweeping him over mid-wicket, and these seamers will have nightmare of Pujara straight
just
bat.
Defend, just straight bat, dead bat. Damien?
Just the mental achievement, just test after test, just to keep going. And he's in form, but he's not wasted it. He's kept it going.
167.2 overs for Australia. Thoughts on their bowling performance, Damien Martyn?
Not great. I mean, look, it's been okay. The wicket has it's been flat, hasn't it? So it's but I think they're a bit flat as well, energy-wise. The whole team, we've seen that. Stark, even with that, the third new ball was just going everywhere. As a group, they've been disappointing.
Ajit?
Yeah, I think the batting's let them down through the series, which eventually has caught up with the bowling. It's been quite a flat performance, tough pitch to bowl, but with that kind of quality, those 4 guys, you expect them to even so create more of an impact.
Sanjay?
Bowling in the first session of the Test match, very disappointing. Bowling got better, but the pitch has flattened out. So
Partnership of 204 from just 224 between Pant and Jadeja. Just thoughts on that, Ajit?
A little bit of a net session at that point. I think the Australians were down and out at that point, but both of them made sure they got runs. I mean, Jadeja missed out on a 100, which would have been even nice for him, but really good partnership. Lots of positives for India as far as batting is concerned. They've been smart.
Jadeja, the batsman, keeps to raise the game now.
his batting average is 31 before this innings, so it must have improved after this innings. So But as I said, good on ya.
Yeah, and just that partnership, perhaps the damage was done, Damien, but that partnership, the effect that it had on Australia?
Actually, it's a killer blow. I mean, I've been in teams where we've had that with, Adam Gilchrist, we keep saying down the end, putting on partnerships. And it's just it's a huge mental blow to them to see those runs come on and just, you're grinding it out 2 days in the field. It's not good.
All right, next up, India with the new ball. You're critical of Australia. India just had a short session with the new ball. Thoughts, Ajit?
Exceptional. 5 overs.
Created a chance.
Yeah, I mean, they did create a chance. Would have been an ideal finish for that day if they picked up 1, maybe 2 wickets. Who knows, a new batter comes in, pick up another one, but too early.
Bowling?
Shami lost some points there.
Yeah, they've still got newish ball tomorrow, but just thoughts on Kohli used all 4 bowlers in the short.
Very good, very good. And Kuldeep Yadav's last over was very promising.
And you like the fact that the spinners came on with the newish ball.
Yeah, and that is Virat Kohli's style. In a short session, he ensured that the spinners have a bowl.
Damien, just thoughts on that? Spinners with a hardish ball, will they create problems?
Yeah, I think it's all good. We saw Yadav bowl that one to Khawaja, which I don't know what sort of shot Khawaja was playing. So if I was Kohli and the spinners, I'd be sitting back tonight going, looking for a big day tomorrow, bowling a lot of spin.
Okay, to sum up Australia's openers, then we know that Khawaja has some sort of documented problem against spin. He played very well in the UAE though. But just thoughts on the challenge ahead for Khawaja and Marcus Harris?
Yeah, I mean, Khawaja's gone back up. I think Harris has done well. I mean, he's in the team. He's new. I mean, everybody knows probably Warner's going to come back in. But, I think Khawaja, he can bat. He can bat 3, he can open. He's a quality player. It's just now, it's a mental battle now, isn't it? Of just, batting time, batting balls out and trying. They're not going to win it, I don't think. They're going to try and get some pride out of this individually and team-wise and get a draw.
Sanjay?
Nothing much to say, really. I mean, I like Marcus Harris. I think he's somebody that you want to stick with. We'll see how good Khawaja is against spin tomorrow.
Ajit?
Yeah, I mean, Harris has probably looked one of the better Australian batsmen in this series. He needs a big scorer and good opportunity, good pitch still. And Khawaja, I mean, if you ask any Australian, probably be disappointed with the series that he's had. So another opportunity, 3rd day pitch. It's that you can see it's still a flat pitch. It'll need a lot of mental resolve.
Well, those were our quick takes. Now we're set to take your questions, and they've been exceedingly good on the 2nd day of the SCG test. So let's take them up now. They're coming from Facebook, they're coming from YouTube. This is from our YouTube live feed by Vishal Surana for Sanjay. With Pant's batting pedigree, can Virat go back to a 5-bowler theory, where the 5th bowler could be Jadeja or Hardik or Bhuvi?
Now, this is overseas, you need batting depth. So let's not get too carried away with the form of Pant. At home, you can have flirt around with the balance a little bit. Having said that, at home we have turning pitches of 4 bowlers. Generally proved to be enough. I've now become of the opinion that let's not bring Hardik Pandya in the equation because it might just spoil this nice balance that you have currently of quality batsmen and quality bowlers.
This Pant becoming a regular run getter could add some serious balance though to this.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the number.
dimension.
I mean, one of the things India did, in my opinion, didn't do right was play that 1 batsman less in England, trying to go for that all-rounder and play 5 bowlers. And their batting was suffering on tough pitches. So here they've gone back to 4 bowlers, and the 4 bowlers have got the job done.
Yeah.
And those 30s and 40s of Rishabh Pant, at that number, or 6 or 7, have come in handy.
But let's not get carried away.
Sure.
This has been a good batting performance, but until this series, India's batting has been really poor. So
Even now, I mean, we spoke about it, Pujara, and then there was nobody till Pant got this big 150.
And I think there is something there about Hanuma Vihari, the bowler, So let's not try and get Hardik Pandya, the all-rounder. If Vihari develops as a batsman and gets some confidence, you'll see that spill over into his bowling. Could be the additional spinner, and you play that 1 spinner and have 3 seamers. The 3 seamers have had a wonderful season, so let's not drop these guys and have 2 spinners if the pitch doesn't demand it.
There's still plenty of time before India play significant test cricket again. But yes, food for thought with Rishabh Pant's fantastic innings today. Let's find some more questions now to put through to the panel. This is from Jiten. Is Kuldeep's biggest challenge to get pace off the wicket and to get the batsman to defend from the front foot rather than the back foot? Ajit?
Yeah, clearly. I mean, one of the sort of, not criticism, but one of the things that maybe was lacking in his, or is lacking sometimes, is the pace, which gives batsman time to then play him off the back foot. So yeah, the 2 overs that he bowled tonight, he looked good. I know it's a new ball, so it will skid on the surface a little bit more. So that'll be the challenge tomorrow once the ball is a little bit older. if the batsmen play him for a few overs, they might start picking him a bit better. So it is a challenge if
The
he can
trajectory
create.
was different, Ajit. You know, normally he's a guy who goes like
Yeah.
this.
Yes.
It was a lot more flatter. So perhaps he's looking at the pitch, to be his ally rather than trying to tease the batsman with flight. Because then the pace is slow off the pitch. That allows you to get onto the back foot. At Lords, he looked like a fish out of water. But that spell there, just before end of day, is very promising.
Okay, now let's get one for Damien as well, and I'll also have a follow-up on that Kuldeep Yadav question for Damien Martyn, who's seen a couple of overs from him today. This is, well, I hope I get this right. Gino Israel McDonald. Since the South Africa tour, why has the Aussie pace attack become ineffective all of a sudden? Damien, all yours.
Why have I got that question all of a sudden from South Africa? I'm not sure on that one. Look, I don't know the reason why this. I mean, Stark's been his way, and I mean, Hazlewood's good. Cummins, it's been difficult. They've found, and I think, good batting. I mean, I think they've come across a good Indian side that is, grounded out and come here to win. And Pujara's been big, Kohli's been big. But yeah, I think as a group, they go away and look at it and go, look, to be a successful team and number one in the world, you need to be able to get through this and find an answer.
Yes,
Sanjay.
Sanjay.
Damien, how important is inspirational leadership to rally these bowlers, because these are three quality bowlers, but temperamentally perhaps they need somebody who's going to be sort of pushing them to do better and bowl with a lot more intensity, or that's not that important, the leadership?
It is, but I think since South Africa, there's a lot of change gone on, and Tim Paine's there. Whether Steve Smith, when he comes back, becomes captain again, whether the bowling group find it difficult under a new captain, or Tim Paine's just a different sort of person of his leadership. We see that with captaincies and changeover.
Damien, sorry to interrupt. Can you imagine Steve Smith of the old captaining in this series, and the bowlers bowling differently with his sort of stature and the character that he has on the field?
Yeah, I think he's like Kohli, isn't he? The game moves on quickly. He's always looking for new opportunities and doing different things, as I said, with the field or going up there and talking to his bowlers. And I think Tim Paine could do that as well. He's keeping, so it's just, I think, different characters. We see that the way Kohli captains, and I think Steve Smith's the same.
And I always feel your captain should be one of your best players in the team. Just makes it easier to for the guys to follow you.
Yeah, but I guess these are still unique circumstances in which Tim Paine
No,
took
I mean,
up the
I'm
captaincy.
sure there
that
are
is
enough
something that
examples.
seems palpable watching from a distance, that they are not at you. I mean, there is quality definitely, but they are not.
But there's also so much going around, Sanjay. It would be fair. Everyone's keeping an eye on how they're behaving. All sorts of cultural reviews.
I don't want to see any sort of talking, but just by sheer, follow through and attitude and stuff like that.
Can you sympathize with this, Damien? Sometimes we go hard at the Aussies for going too hard, and now we're not happy with the Aussies because they're going too soft. The world doesn't know how they want Australia to behave.
No, and I agree with Sanjay too. Look, from the outside, the intensity looks down, and the way they go about, there's a fine line. Yes, we don't saying the verbal stuff, but it's just body language and what you go and maybe that's since South Africa, it's gone all quiet and something. They are being watched. The media is watching.
See,
everything.
David, South Africa is a great example as a bowling unit. They are not guys who are in your face having a word, and I mean Rabada loses it sometime, but you cannot deny the intensity and that. The word that I'm looking for, as a batsman, you feel that there's an opposition there,
and Australia
ready
always
for a
had
fight.
Yeah,
without saying or not saying. And South Africa, when you go there, you see, I mean, when India was there recently, Philander, he's at you, doesn't say a word, but you can feel the pressure with Philander running it. I haven't sensed it from a distance. I could be wrong, but it's not been visible, at least from a distance, that the batsmen are feeling that kind of heat from the fast bowlers.
Okay, well, let's take some more questions that are coming the way of Sanjay Manjrekar, and let's pick this one from Gurdeep. Do you think it's a flat wicket and might be a cause of a draw? So India still favours.
If India get 20 wickets on this pitch, I think like Pujara, final sort of feather in his cap, culminating what a great batting series he's had. If India get 20 wickets on this pitch, it's also India's sort of final glory. Taking 20 wickets on the flattest pitch.
There's a good one from Clinto Thomas on since we were discussing Australia's bowlers, asking Ajit why Stark's not being able to deliver and whether it's related to technical issues or now is it just fatigue, and does he need some time off?
I don't think he needs time off. I think he played very little cricket coming into this series, whether that hampered his, and then once you don't get your rhythm, sometimes it's a lot difficult to get it back. I would have thought the more he bowled in the series, he got better. For some reason, it didn't look aggressive enough to me.
Did you bowl differently under different captains? Did that happen to you?
Possibly, but I don't know. It's hard to put a finger on why he can't, because when he still runs in and bowls, the pace is up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, before with Sanjay said, sometimes you just don't feel he's aggressive enough, or I don't know. I have no idea what word to use, but I can't put a finger on why, with that kind of ability, in a 4-match series,
So
at least once he can't produce.
Tally of wickets, these guys wouldn't be there measuring up with the Indian bowlers, right? I don't know. We haven't
But
looked
it's
at that.
sometimes the
Nathan
way
Lyon
you
would be.
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes it's the way you bowl as well. I mean, we've seen throughout the series, there hasn't been sustained sort of spells of bowling from Stark in particular. I keep saying it because just looks the perfect fast bowler.
Remember that first spell that he bowled in India at Pune, start of the series, and you could see the great bowler Stark was. See that.
This was a completely different approach from the Aussie team. They really made something happen in that series, took a lead, and was a tightly contested series. Not been quite that at the end of it. But let's continue taking your questions. I believe we've got one coming from YouTube Live from Chicago. It's nearly 1:30 in the night there. Yeah, it's 1 a.m. in Chicago, but as a 90s kid, says Gunjan Srivastav, just cannot miss a second of this test or match day live. Pitch too flat to force a result. What should be India's strategy tomorrow? Let's go to Damien Martyn. Damien, all yours.
Yeah, it's good. Is it cold in Chicago? 1 a.m. That's a good effort. Well done for watching. Tomorrow, India, it's get 10 wickets to start with, and then decide follow on or Australia, depending on what they get as well. So, I mean, Kohli's here to win this test match. He's not here to draw. Is the wicket too flat? Yeah, it's looked flat at the moment, but it will turn. And I think runs on the board is a lot of pressure for Australia. We saw that last test match. So it's all in India's hand right at the moment.
This is an interesting one from David Hughes, as I see on our Facebook Live. For you, Damien, Australia looks like they're lacking motivation and momentum. A new leader could help. What about Pat Cummins? All sorts of things about Pat Cummins and what he did after the last test. He could possibly even be Prime Minister. He's gone wicketless, I think, in 167 overs. But Pat Cummins, future leader?
Yeah, he is. I mean, that's been spoken about, but it's funny how that just comes out after one batting innings, because he batted well. But look, that's the way it is. I mean, he's a good kid. Yes, he's smart. He could be the leader. Bowlers can be captains as well. So, but Tim Payne's there at the moment, and it'll really depend on what happens with Steve Smith when he comes back in.
This is actually, David, it's a new problem for Australia, because Ian Chappell, famously used to say that captain is not such a big issue. You pick 11 players, make the best player the captain, and the team would generally respond the same way. Now, I think Australia, because of all the issues that have happened, are looking for certain characteristics apart from the cricketing skill in captain. So, this is new
they're
territory
possibly
for
missing
Australia.
their two best players.
Yeah,
in
bring
Test
that back
cricket
in.
at least.
Yeah, because see, there's nothing to fault with Tim Payne. He's been a good keeper. He's got some runs down the order. But I just feel, as a team, when Virat Kohli captains India, you can bet there's nobody out there who's just standing on their heels or, not giving their 100%, because he's there pushing by example, or sometimes just by glaring or saying a few things. So I don't know. Just guesswork.
Okay. One more from Sanjay that I see from Sandeep. Do you think it's time India tries out someone like Shubman Gill to be part of the team, given the success of Prithvi, Mayank and the other young guys? Maybe in place of Ajinkya Rahane. Maybe in place of Ajinkya Rahane, who's not...
Ajinkya Rahane has got some
failing
issues, and I just want him to face those facts that he's not batting as well as he can. And let's see, maybe he deserves another couple of test matches, Rahane, because he's got a few scores.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of good people coming through. There's one guy, Ishwaran, who got 180 not out to win a game. So there's a lot of batsmen coming through the ranks. I've always liked Shubman Gill.
Amar Goradia, you like him as in personally or?
Always
as a batsman.
Non-personal.
Yeah. Amar Goradia on this. Isn't it surprising not to see Pant in the ODI squad even as a pure batsman? Ajit.
I think you should answer that.
No, Ajit and me have the same views on this.
I think this question has been handpicked by Raunak, not by the producer.
What about the others? I handpicked those as well. Ajit.
I don't know whether they've rested him because of this test series or whatever cricket he's had in recent time. If that's the case, it's okay. But I can't believe he's not part of the 50.
Resting a very young.
I don't know. We don't know whether Ishant Sharma was injured and that's why he wasn't part of the 13. So we don't quite know. But it's ridiculous if he's not part of the 15.
Does he strike you as someone who should be part of every format, Damien? Rishabh Pant, we know what he can do in 2020 cricket. For some reason, India prefer keeping out of the ODI setup. He did get a few chances against the West Indies. Didn't quite have the impact that he's had in Test cricket.
I'll just be controversial and say he should play all formats. Okay, he should be in.
He
He's form at the
played-
moment the way he's batting today. Yes, definitely.
See, it's the Dhoni factor, isn't it? If Rishabh Pant has to come in, Dhoni has to be displaced.
But there is Dinesh Karthik as the second keeper bat. Now, would you not have Rishabh
That's a
Pant
bad
there?
selection, to be very honest, because by this time you should know that Dinesh Karthik's greatest value to the Indian team is 20 overs cricket. He was there in the Asia Cup tournament, got dropped after that, didn't play against the West Indies. He's back in. So
And Rishabh Pant's batted what, twice again in one day cricket? recent
I
times?
think he's
So-
got 3 innings. He didn't
Yeah,
bat once, and he's got 2. T20s when he's played for India hasn't quite lived up to the expectation, but I mean, I think it's the Dhoni factor more than anything.
Okay, well, it should only be a matter of time before we do see Rishabh Pant in more formats than this. But Ajit, Sanjay and Damien have had a mixed day when it comes to their Fab 4 selection. So let's get straight into that. Damien Martyn, how has he fared on day 2 of this? Has he done any better than the Aussies on field? 100 points that both Ajit and Sanjay would have anyway had for picking Nathan Lyon. Sorry, Damien,
100.
it's not a
He
good
got
day for
100 though.
Australia.
Oh no, look, I know. I've got to research. I've got to go back to the drawing board tonight. In a couple of minutes when I pick my new 4.
Very well. You have a couple of minutes. I'm going to ask you your top 4 in just a bit. Let's have a look
2 more.
at how these two fine gentlemen to my left have fared today. Ajit Agarkar has managed to pick Rishabh Pant yesterday and therefore got 179 points out of him and 100 out of Lyon. So 279 points, Ajit. Satisfied?
Yeah, a little bit disappointed. Rishabh Pant didn't take that catch, would have got a few more. And Shami had a wicket. So
You're being greedy, no, Ajit, now? No? Or
yeah, after
just
praising him so
disappointed?
much, Rishabh.
the, of course, humble pie that Sanjay Manjrekar is going to have in just a moment. Let's have a look at Sanjay's result. Well, as we can see, Ajit has outscored him significantly. How does that do enough to seal the gap? I
Not
don't
yet.
think so. 173 points. The gap might be narrowed down though. Well done on Pujara. But
Yeah, the important thing is the overall summary
let's
of
look at it
performance.
then. Then let's look at it straight away. Sanjay Manjrekar has called for the overall summary, and that's how the Fab 4 leaderboard is after day 2.
Oh
It's
dear,
close.
that's
That
34,
catch
It's
and that
very
wicket would have
close.
done it.
Yeah, shit.
Now,
Okay, so-
Damien, you have to pick some very interesting choices now to ensure that you don't pick that you try and bridge the gap. So I'm going to let you go third. You can hear how these
Yes.
boys are doing and see who you want to pick to try and
And
get
considering
them
how it's
further.
going for Australia in your research team, make sure that you've got some Indians from Australia helping you with selections.
Very well.
I've got Mum here. She's sorting it.
Let me start with you, Sanjay. You're top of the table, so why don't you start?
I have to pick 4 for tomorrow.
Yes.
I've got Kuldeep Yadav. I'm going to pick Bumrah on form.
Those 2 overs could be a little misleading. Huh? You meant Kuldeep
And-
Yadav might have a long day tomorrow.
Yeah, could be. Bumrah. And I'm going to pick 2 Aussie batsmen. I'm going to pick Harris and Khwaja.
Harris and Khawaja, the openers. All right. So you think Kuldeep and Bumrah will get wickets after a significant part of the day tomorrow?
Yeah, I expect some batting to happen from Australia, some runs scored.
Very well. Ajit.
Yeah, I've got, after that evidence today, Kuldeep's got to be there. He'll have a chance of picking at least a couple.
And we experts had a problem with Kuldeep's selection to begin
That's
with.
how you all are, no? All hindsight
terrible.
experts, all of you are in
Terrible.
this. Yeah.
I'm going to go Shami. I need a differential. And Harris is, to me, looked the best. At some stage, he's
He nearly
got to
nicked
get
off. Yeah.
No,
to
it
your
was
Shami.
Khwaja.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
You obviously weren't watching.
See, Ajit, you should know Ajit's style. He'll rave about a player but pick somebody else.
Harris, and I'm going to go. What's his?
Are you going to go Jadeja? Are you going to go batsman?
No, a batsman. Who's there? Marsh. and
Marsh
there's-
is next. Hanscom, Manas Labuschagne.
Yeah, I'm going to go Sean Marsh.
Sean Marsh. Very well. Let's see if Damien Martyn has gone for Sean Marsh on day 3. It fits. I mean, you thought Sean Marsh would get you some runs, Damien. Now, he didn't get a bat today. I'm assuming he's going to be part of your
Can you
picks
make
on
a
day
last
3.
minute change or you don't want
No,
to make
it's
one?
Let's hear
He's
from
going to make a lot of
Damien.
runs. Can I pick 6 players? They're going to-
I'll tell you what.
6
just,
each or
just for
6?
fun, I'll write down 6.
No, just because he's losing, he can't have these benefits.
No, that's for fun. We'll take a call later. We'll see
Hey, I'll pick
if
4,
all
I'll
those
pick
6
4.
together help him.
Hey.
Go for it, Damien.
Hey, I'm going Sean Marsh, of course, because the emotional WA man. I'm going Kuldeep, I'm going Jadeja, and I'm going Bumrah. It's going to be an all-out Indian wicket.
Kuldeep, Jadeja, Bumrah, and only Sean Marsh will hold the Australian flag and the Western Australian
The rest
flag
will get out.
flying high. All right, Ajit, you want to change?
No, I'm okay.
Who is it? Did you want to change, Sanjay?
No, I was suggesting he should go for head.
No, I think I'll stick to Sean Marsh. He's looked good in the last test.
Very well. Why are you influencing the person who's
I'm just
now
trying to help.
breathing down?
I
Like,
like competition.
Is that
He's happy right now. If that catch had been taken, he wouldn't have been.
okay? Let's
Actually, the lead would have happened.
let's carry this conversation after the show. Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you, Ajit, on an excellent day for India. Thank you, Damien. Martyn, we'll get your thoughts on day 3 as well. And thank you, all of you, for sending in your questions through this day. On our way out, we'll show you more of Sydney. It's the Sydney Cricket Ground and more that Shivani Dandekar has from us in ESPN Cricinfo Undiscovered Australia, presented by Tourism Australia. We'll see you again tomorrow for ESPN Cricinfo Matchday, presented by Maruti Suzuki.
I'm at the SCG with Ed Cowan and he's showing me around this historic stadium.
The statues are a new feature, and Richie Beno is over there to our right. Steve Waugh's here, and then they've sort of interwoven these beautiful bronze statues, and they've got the Walk of Honours. Betty Cuthbert, who most cricket fans won't know, but she was a fantastic Olympian in athletics for Australia. So you've got to remember that the SCG obviously is the Sydney Cricket Ground, but it also has so many different sports. So the Sydney Swans play here in the winter. There's a huge history of rugby league at this ground before Allianz Stadium next door was built. Used to host athletics carnivals, held a Major League Baseball game only a few years ago. So while it is a cricket ground, it is a multi-sport ground as well.
That's the great thing about Australia, is that Australia is a multi-sport nation.
It is. Well, that's the joy, and particularly Sydney, you've got the beach within touching distance of the city. You know, swimming at the beach, working in town, your kids are racing around at all the sporting events. It is a great lifestyle, you're right. So one last thing I did want to show you, because it's you know, obviously some great memories on this ground as well. I'm getting a bit emotional even talking about it already. But there was an event here that saw the passing of a friend of mine, Phil Hughes, and they have a plaque, sorry, up next to the members stand up here. So every time you walk out to bat, you can walk past that and think of a lost friend.
Kind of emotion that just the stadium alone, steeped in so much history, can kind of evoke in a person. And clearly this is something that's very deep-rooted for you. So we thank you for sharing that with us.
That's
I know
okay.
that must have been tough. So this is obviously a memorial for Phillip Hughes, who passed away in 2014. And just reading the words, 63, not out forever, it's literally giving me goosebumps.